Okay guys, we just installed the water pump and the reservoir. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up, let it run for a little bit, make sure that it sounds good, everything's working good. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Listen to how quiet that is. I don't know if you guys remember when we first had it running, it sounded like a chainsaw. We got a little bit of noise from the motor, but that's usually from just all the crappy oil that's in there in the timing chain. So as you can see, we don't have the fan on. We're just letting it run a little bit, let it kind of burp out all the air bubbles. But you can see that the water pump is no longer flaring and the motor's quiet. So let's go over here. So this is the old water pump. And so basically this shaft, I don't know if you can see this or you can hear it. Kind of see it there. I mean, it's just, this thing is just wobbling back and forth, and it has an insane amount of play. So you can kind of see it there. So that's what basically is making all that noise. And here is our reservoir. Like I said, I don't know what the hell they were doing. They got some putty with some fiberglass with some mat, you know, and like I said, this thing was only, I think, like 40-50 bucks. So they probably spent $20 on Cubon just to get it like this. So not sure why they did that, but anyways, now it's good to go. We're working on the fan clutch now. Here's the old one. Like I said, it makes a lot of noise when it turns. The bearing's actually broken. There's only about 3 of them in here. Here's the new one we picked up for, this one's kind of expensive, it's about 120 bucks. So if you guys never seen a fan clutch, this is what it is. Most cars are electric now, but some of the older cars still have the actual fan clutch itself. So we're gonna go ahead and take this one out, install it in here, and then we're actually gonna take it for a test drive. But as of right now, it's been running for a little while before I started filming. We got no smoke out of the back end. It's not overheating, even without the fan clutch, which is pretty great. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it off and go from there. So here we got the old one. Well, at least we know it's original. It's still got the Land Rover mark on it. Let's go ahead and put our new one down. And we're just gonna install it the same way we took it off. So I'm trying to do this while I'm filming, and I'm trying to get more involved in the actual, like, doing one-on-one type of filming and actually working on the car. That's why I'm choosing not to use electric or impact tools, so this way you can actually hear me talking, so I don't mind donating a little blood for the car gods. But I want to be more interactive when it shows this, because I see a lot of guys like, oh, I fixed this car, I flipped this car, but you never ever see them get dirty. So I wanted to actually show the whole process, literally from start to end, where you actually start working on a car, you diagnose the car, we fix the car, and then we actually detail it, clean it up, and then we actually sell the car. So now that we got the fan clutch installed, we're gonna go ahead, bring it over here, install it, but I'm gonna go ahead and torque these down just to make sure they're good to go, and then we'll test it. Okay guys, so we just pulled out the Range Rover. We're gonna go get some gas, but so far so good. It's running pretty quiet. We put the new fan clutch in, the water pump, also the reservoir. We checked the oil and fluids. Everything seems to be going good. We've been letting it run and sitting here for about an hour. It does smell like it has a lot of old bad gas, so we're gonna go ahead and go fill it up real quick. Probably replace this tire, because I mean, like I said, you can see the separation in the tire. Okay, as you can see, we're on empty. Temperature's fine, everything's working pretty good. We've been running this thing for about an hour now, and it's stayed the same place. We kind of put it back together. We're going to start cleaning it up after we make sure that it runs right. You can see all the garbage in the back. I got a gas can there. Always bring your jumper box with you. Unfortunately, my guys got my scanner, so I got the small cheap one just in case I get stuck if it goes into limp mode. So we're going to go ahead and head out and get gas. All right, guys, here's the first maiden voyage of the $700 Range Rover. We're going to go get some gas, so let's see how it goes. All right. Uh-oh. We got that service engine soon light flashing. Man, this thing wobbles. You could totally feel that tire separation. And I can just smell the old gas, man. This stuff stinks. So we're definitely gonna put some new fuel in this thing. We're going to put some premium in there just so this way it clears out some of the old stuff. These guys probably, since they never changed oil, they probably never put actual real gas in there. So we're going to go ahead and pull in here real quick and get us some gas. Alright. Alright, and definitely a pro tip. If you're driving a car that you've never driven before, never turn that thing off. Even though I got my jumper box sitting there, you never turn it off because you don't know what could happen. Especially after we drove it and that light was flashing. It could be in limp mode and this thing could actually die. So now that everything has been checked out, we checked all the check engine lights. It was just a sensor that was unplugged. It wasn't anything major. So we're going to go ahead and do one last really good drive cycle. And while we're doing this, we're going to stop on the way and make sure that we actually replace that tire in the back that was separating. Because I tell everybody, safety first, then work your way to emissions, and then if you have any money left over for cosmetics, we'll address them at that time. So what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to go for our test drive. We're going to drive this thing around. We're going to switch the tire, and depending on how good it runs, I'm going to figure out if it's worth either maybe buying that new taillight you saw that was damaged in the back, maybe a new headlight, maybe spend $200-300 and get this thing polished out and really nice by a professional detailer. So we're kind of up in the air, but like I said, the drive will tell us 90% of where we're at, because as of right now, I think we're still under like $1,000 all invested into this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and tally up all the notes and receipts and see how much we're in everything, and we'll get into that when I come back. All right, I'm gonna show you guys while we're replacing the tires. If you look right here, you can see that the tread is actually separating all the way down the side of the tire. More than likely, they ran this with low air pressure and we're driving it and it kind of started the separation. Also, the dry rotted, so it's better to be safe than sorry. So we just left the tire store. I took it on the freeway, took it about a 5 to 10 mile lap around here in Vegas, drove it on the side streets. It drove really good, drove straight, not a lot of vibration, a little bit of shaking from the motor, from like the motor mounts because they're worn. Suspension felt tight, transmission shifted smoothly. So I think it's pretty much good to go. After looking at the car, the exterior is actually in good shape, but the interior is very dirty and there's a lot of scratches and nicks. So after looking at this, sitting at the tire shop, running the numbers, if I were to get a new tail light and a new headlight, I would basically spend $800 and maybe profit additional $200 on top of that. So to me, the risk does not outweigh the cost, so I'm going to go ahead and not do that. And I started looking online, and you'll see pop up right here. I found multiple Range Rovers for sale, but all these cars were either non-running, damaged, some sort of major issue, and they're selling between $2,800 and $3,700. So I figured our sweet spot is going to be $3,200 to $3,500 for this car. Now, can I sell it for more? Probably, but I always tell people the first offer is the best offer. You want to price it so cheap where you can just blow it out, make a quick profit, and just move on to something else. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull it up front, and we're going to detail it. But before I do, we're going to go over the numbers. So we just finished up with the Range Rover. You can see behind me here that they're actually detailing it and vacuuming, getting it ready. So I came inside my car because unfortunately it's way too loud out there, but I wanted to go over the final numbers with you for the vehicle. So I have them right here, and what we're looking at is we have $700 for the actual Range Rover. We have $50 for towing, $57 for the water pump, $53 for the reservoir, $5 for the oil filter, $120 for the fan clutch, $35 for a used tire, and $25 for gas, which brings us to a grand total of $1,045 for our beautiful Range Rover sitting right here. Now, I started going online looking for other models to see what we're going to be going up against, and everything that I found was pretty much damaged or wrecked or whatever else for around $2,700 to $3,500. So I figured to get rid of this one really quickly, we're going to post it up for sale for $3,500 just so we can blow it out and get rid of it. So we're gonna post it as soon as it's done detailing, and then when I get back to the house, I'll let you know how it goes. I have a pretty good feeling it's gonna sell quick because I just kind of asked around to some of my friends and what they thought, and they think that $3,500 it's gonna sell like that. So stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Wow, guys, that went extremely well. It shocked me. We just finished cleaning it. We posted it about maybe 5:30-ish. We put it on 2 platforms, Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. I put it for $3,500, you know, or best offer. Within 5 minutes, I had 10 messages on both of the apps. So I did something that I normally don't do. I usually give the address and I wait for somebody else to show up. But Vegas, there's a lot of tire kickers, a lot of people wasting your time. So I literally shotgun blasted the address out to every single person that asked me that question. And I figured, okay, out of the 20 people that want it, maybe 3 or 4 are real serious people and they might actually show up. So the first gentleman kept asking me all these questions. Does it run and drive? I'm like, yes. Does everything work? I'm like, best of my knowledge it does. I'd recommend checking it out, bring a mechanic, whatever else. So he came down with his mechanic. They drove the car around. Guy says, hey, you know what? I like it, but it's a little rough. I'll give you $2,500. I was like, don't even worry about it. So the guy's walking around it. At that time, 3 other people just pulled up to my lot, and they were looking at it, and he's like, whoa, I'm here first. He's like, I'll give you $3,000. I was like, no, I want 35. So this other guy comes in, starts looking at it, and he's like, wow. He's like, this thing's pretty nice. He's like, what's wrong with it? I was like, it's a little ugly, a little rough. Somebody didn't take care of it, but it's a good vehicle. So, I was explaining, what we did, the water pump, the reservoir, just did the service on it. Whoever had it before me did the airbag coilover conversion, which is actually a really big thing for Range Rovers because the airbag system on those things suck and they cost a fortune. So I showed people that. A lot of people that came to look at this vehicle knew what they were looking at. About the 3rd or 4th guy that came, I can't remember which order he came in, he saw that, didn't even drive the car. He's like, I'll take it. I'll give you $3,500. I was like, perfect, fantastic. Right after that, the other guy's like, well, I'll give you 36. And I was like, well, this guy said 35. I don't want to be that type of person. And so the original guy says, I'll give you $3,700. I was like, sold. And I was like, anybody else? Nobody else? That was pretty much it. So gentleman counted out the money, took care of the paperwork, and he was on his way. So this was probably over a span about 25 minutes. I go back to look at my phone. I had 80 something plus messages on Facebook and OfferUp. People asking me, how much is the lowest, your typical tire kickers, but there was a lot of really serious people. So normally when I get a really big response like this, I will stop, take off the ad and raise the price. But this particular thing, I wanted to get rid of it the day we finished it, just so I can finish my video with you guys and talk about it. So, it was a really good success. We bought it for $700. Like I said, it was a complete shot in the dark. These are one of these random things that sometimes work out, sometimes they don't, which you're gonna see in a few other videos. I bought a few cars that I totally bombed on. But I thought it was kind of interesting just to see the whole, how everything gets laid out, how we buy the car, we bought it pretty much sight unseen. We didn't know if it ran or drove or what was wrong with it. We lucked out with the key, spent a little bit of money here and there. But like I said, to be in a Land Rover all in for $1,045 is huge. And like I said, we sold it for $37,000. I think our profit was like $2,600, and it took us a total of like maybe 3 days to do this. So it wasn't too bad, but I'm glad you guys watched the video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. Like I said, I answer every single one. And once again, make sure you follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. Okay guys, if you felt like you've learned something, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps me find more amazing people like yourselves that want to learn about automotive things. Also, if you have any questions, like I said, put it down in the comment section below. I answer every single one. And if you can, please subscribe. We just broke 12,000 subscribers. We're on our pace to hit 20, I'm guessing in the next 2 to 3 months, which is awesome, even though we just broke 10 not too long ago. Also, if you guys can, please follow us on Instagram at automotive.life, and we'll see you next video.